Hello there, Internet. This is me, as always, Ryan, here on the Ghost Layers Report, coming to you, as always, from Tokyo, Japan. Alright, so, apparently, the rabbit hole goes pretty deep here in Japan. It's now come out that the state-run operator of the experimental Monju fast breeder reactor paid 109 million yen in what they call membership fees to various agencies and bodies in 2009. This raises even further suspicion that taxpayer money was being abused by the Japanese Atomic Energy Agency. We already know the safety board's dirty as hell. We did a video on that. Try to put an annotation around here somewhere later so you can check that video out. But now it comes out they're paying even more money. Alright, so some of the entities paid had given former officials of the Ministry of Education, Culture, Sports, Science, and Technology some really cozy jobs after their time in office was over. So right there we're seeing a connection here. Follow the money and you see who got what. You know? Abuse. But it goes further. Let's look at a few more facts about this. Now, in fiscal 2009, now the Atomic Energy Agency received around 185 billion yen in state subsidies, some of which came from the tax for financing the development of power sources. Now, this is a tax that is put on top of our household utility bills. You get your electric bill in the mail. If you look down, I think it's the third or fourth item down, you'll see this like extraordinary tax. Yeah, that's the tax we're supposed to develop power resources for. So they've been getting some of that money, which is direct taxpayer money. Okay? Now, let's get this, make it even better, right? There's this habit in Japan known as, and forgive me for if I don't pronounce this correctly, it's amakudari. It literally means descent from heaven. Retired senior bureaucrats often receive highly paid posts at government-affiliated bodies and private sector firms related to their former area of supervision. So we see these guys getting big jobs from the same entities that they were giving all this money and membership fees to under this Monju program. Now, what is the Monju Reactor? Well, it's an experimental reactor used to attempt to recycle nuclear waste so we can effectively use it again. And this appears to be full of dirty up and down. Just the facts I pointed out so far. The amount of money they paid out, 109 million. The agency responsible for paying out the money. The ministry the agency is connected to. The fact that a lot of these entities were given former officials nice big jobs after they retired from politics. And the fact that taxpayer money is involved. But it gets better. It gets better. Among the recipients were the Atomic Energy Welfare Association, which offers welfare services to the officials of the Atomic Energy Agency. It got around 4 million yen a month between April and September 2009. So between that time, they were getting 4 million a month. Welfare for officials of the Atomic Agency? I really don't think these guys need any welfare. I don't think they're in any need of any welfare services. They're paid quite well. They've been skimming off the top for a long time. Again, there's a video we talked about that. So that's ridiculous. No way they should be paying to that particular body. They don't need him. welfare. Really now. That's kind of ridiculous, right? Another agency that was benefiting was Wakasawan Energy Research Center. Now here's where you can really see the connection. Right now they conduct research on nuclear power generation technologies. This group got 31.5 million yen in September of that year, 2009. Now, the former Director General of the Science Ministry served as an executive at the center. Alright, so look at these guys, man. They're going around in a circle. You talk about cronyism and all this, here it is. It's dirty right in the open. These guys have been paying each other off, been sucking off of us and giving the money to their buddies. There's really no excuse for that type of behavior. Especially when I've said this many times, it comes down to nuclear power. It's not something you can play politics with. It's not something you can treat as a normal political issue. Of all this cronyism, corruption, insiders, all this stuff. You can't do that with nuclear energy. That's the bad way to go. That's why we got so many problems right now with it, because you made it political. You didn't keep it where it should have been. Extremely scientific. Extreme care taken in it. And looking at how this is going to benefit everybody. And is it really safe? Is it good for us? Well, no. They cover up and lie all the time. And they take all this money from each other, protect each other, save each other. But so they can make even more profit off the actual final product, which is cheap, renewable nuclear energy. Just taking advantage of the situation left and right here. Now, but there's a little bit of hope in here. It was in November of last year that the Government Revitalization Unit. Now, this is a body tasked with screening wasteful spending, which is something that the Democratic Party of Japan is really big on. They're still going to do it, but they get the conversation going enough to scare the hell out of a few people, and rightfully so. This unit proposed a sweeping review of the long-running Monju program. This is how they found out about this, right? The reactor has long been plagued by mishaps. Mishaps, of course, would mean radiation leaks, of course. All right, which cast a lot of doubt on its viability. Japan developed the proper technology to recycle nuclear waste. There's always problems with it. Separately, the DPJ found the National Institute of Information Communication Technology, which is linked to the Internal Affairs and Communications Ministry, where this revitalization unit would preside. Similarly offered $45.5 million to 41 different bodies to support in fiscal 2010. All right, so the people who are supposed to check on the people who check on the nuclear safety industry is also dirty, man. All right, they also been handing out money to different bodies. Now, among the 41 bodies, right? An entity promoting information and communication technology received $5.9 million to cover personal cost of second workers. Second workers are basically contracted people who have a long-standing relationship with a company. Say if you've been contracted with a company for 5-6 years, you have a standing with them, and under contract workers, there's a lot of things they don't legally have to provide for you, but they want to do it because you have such a long-standing professional relationship with them. That's what that's for. But that's the responsibility of a private company, a business to do on their own. They shouldn't be getting government money for that. All right. But you see, this communications technology institute was heavily connected to the National Internal Affairs and Communication Ministry, so they got a kickback there. All right. So sounds like they are hiring some propaganda people to cover up some things. Right, because people who focus on communications are also typically masters of propaganda when it need be. So we see up and down in this latest thing, just dirty, handing out money to each other. Cronyism like I've never seen. Well, actually I have seen it before, but this just digs a little bit deeper. So how much deeper is this going to go? When do we get to the bottom? When do we find the worst of the worst here, okay? Like I said, the rabbit hole just keeps going deeper here. More and more money being handed out. More and more corruption. More and more attempts to cover up things. Taking care of each other. And this Akakudari, that's really the heart of the issue here. Why this type of money is being handed out like this is because these officials, when they retire, they want to secure a nice little job for themselves. And instead of doing that based on their record and their time served in office, that would make their resume absolutely amazing, they pay people off to get a job handed to them without having to earn it in the private sector. Like they're somehow owed it. Okay, no, you're owed a good job in a private sector when you leave the public sector if you've earned it. In your time in office, you did things that benefit everybody, and you were a good leader, and you were a good manager of resources. Then you earned it. But no, these guys don't want to do that in the Japanese government. They want to do whatever the hell they want, be as dirty as they want, corrupt as they want, and have a job handed to them when they retire. If that's got to stop. If that kind of stuff stops, you see a lot of crap like this stop as well. But until that changes, we're going to have the same situation we have now. This type of stuff going on. Right? So, my suggestion here is to push to stop this habit. This amakudari. Because that really is fueling this. When you limit that, you limit the benefit for politicians that hand out money in this manner. Membership fees, these type of things. We got to end this. As long as you have this situation, you're going to have these payoffs of bribes and stuff going on. Because they feel just because they've been in office for such a long time, they deserve something. And when they know if they don't pay people off, they're not going to get anything. Because nobody likes them. Because they're dirty. But they're particularly good at politics. That's why they stay in power for so long. So that's what I got here going on in Japan. We got more and more money being handed out. More and more corruption going on in the nuclear industry. Even when they're trying to develop better nuclear energy, they have a fist. They got to corrupt that up as well. So, again, thank you very much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed. As always, please subscribe. Please pass these videos on to other people. Until next time, this is me, Ryan, here in Japan.